Go to my check. Let me just check if everything's working or not. I think everything's working. That's good, that's good. And hello, good morning, good day, good afternoon, wherever, or good evening, wherever, whoever, uh, whatever the person is and where they are. This stream is probably gonna be more about exploration on design than actually drawing, but gonna be drawing anyways. Um, it's resuming back to making art for the fighting game thing that's been going on for a while now. And we are gonna basically figuring out like how to explore and create a new character more than anything else actually. So normally it just goes this way that, or at least this is what I like to do, and this can help other people if they wish to follow. But the idea is you create a bunch of notes, create the concept on what the idea is going to be around and why you are doing it. For example, so this character I want, the new character I want it to be tanky, or you could say like a bruiser type. So want him to be like big, strong, a little bit of slow moving. So slow, right? And if I wanted to describe the character um, by visual appeal, other than the big, strong, slow, um, you could say like uh, it looks deadly, or you could say sinister. No, not sinister. Sinister is just evil. This is not evil. This is more like a ferocious in a way. So it still shows like a really strong aesthetic of like it's gonna be like something you don't want to mess around with. So, you know, that's the basic idea of the character. And then finally comes the other part, like, okay, how are we gonna make this character's um shooting mechanism? Because all characters have a shooting mechanism. So like they're either shooting an object from like a weapon or shooting an object from like some magical, you know, device that they have on them. Like it could be either one of the ways. So in this case I wanted a weapon because I don't know, it's just the first thought of design was like if it's a tanky bruiser and like big and strong and slow character, I was thinking of like more like a polar bear because all of these characters are shooting snowballs anyways. So I was thinking of a polar bear that has like a cannon attached to its back, or it's got like a, you know, like a like a probably a big gun in the on the hands or something like that. Or it could have like a grenade launcher. And the idea around this was that I wanted the projectile for this specific character to bounce rather than go in a straight line. So when I say bounce, I'm looking at something like this. Let's see if I can find something interesting. I know the rest of the people cannot see this, but I'm looking for something like, yeah, this Street Fighter, Dalsim has like a fireball that bounces around, like, something like that. So if anyone who's not familiar, they can just like go on YouTube, like, and find out how, like, the fireball bounces. Like, normally Dalsim would shoot a fireball up in the air, like, upwards, and the fireball is gonna go up and then come back down, and it's gonna bounce like 2 to 3 times or something like that. So wanted something like that, but like with an ice, like a snowball instead. So the first things first is like I know that my base of the character is gonna be like a polar bear or something. So I'd go up on like Google or Pinterest or whatever and look it up. Like just figure out like what kind of a design that I want the polar bear to look like. Do I want the polar bear to be like standing in all 4 feet, or like do I want them to be standing like in like like they be bipedal instead? They're able to stand up and walk on 2 feet instead. Like, do you want that to happen, or do you want them to be on all 4 feet or something like that? What's going on? Like, that's the whole plan out that you want to make like as conscious decisions in like while you're making this design. So like, but you know that the base will be like the polar bear in this case. So I got like two really happy or kind of like more like a expressionless looking polar bears as references. Like, let's see if I can find something interesting. We do have like the internet has a huge source of resource. Like the internet has a lot of resources, so you'll find a lot of stuff. Expression is kind of important. It will set the mood and tone of the character that you want to showcase. So it's like it really helps. Now, other than that, I'm looking at like cannons. In my case, I'm looking at like old cannons or like things that are like were used back in the day. So like this is somebody made a replica, 3D replica of a really old cannon. I don't know what that is. This one's pretty nice. It's a little short and stout, but that's a good idea, right? So you got that. Really cool 3D design, whoever's made that. So appreciated for building such a reference around that idea. So you got that. I wanted an old school looking cannon, and probably it would have like certain sense of cybernetic components on it. Like, yeah, I do want it to be a little bit sci-fi for this specific character, but I'm trying to create my own design on how that sci-fi is going to look like. So it's, yeah, it's like how it's gonna be interesting. Where are my stock photos? Like, I normally save a lot of boards on Pinterest, so scour I scour over my boards to look for something interesting most of the time. So this looks like a cool shape. Here's another random factory looking thing. I think it's an oil rig, if I'm correct. And that thing's a drill. Probably one of that. So yeah, it's a cool shape. It's got a very nice uh, very nice looking design that could be inspired from, like, for any sci-fi kind of thing. Oh, this is another one. It's it's definitely an oil refinery. So yeah, you got this. Then let's see what else we got. Maybe some kind of a gadget or something like that, or some kind of a prosthetic. I don't know. I don't want to give prosthetic to the character, to be honest, but maybe like an exoskeleton, that would make sense. Let's see what we got. The thing is, this game does not have like a very specific thematic on like what kind, how the characters are supposed to look like in terms of like timeline. Like, sometimes games do this, especially if the game has a very consistent timeline going on. For example, if you're making a game which is like based around World War II, then you would just be taking references only from World War II. Or if you're making a game which is based around like some kind of like um Middle Eastern fantasy, then you would take references only from Middle Eastern stuff, like, and then you set a timeline around that. Maybe it's like 1700s, or maybe it's like 1100s, we don't know. So you try to figure out like how would some certain things look like from that era and that timeline, and you just do that. Like, you cannot create like a game which is like based around in 1800s or like 1600s and say like, hey, look, no, this 1600s, they've got computers which are like which have got like holographic displays and all that stuff. Like, that's so weird. You can't do that. That's like very inconsistent unless there is a setting that you created, like, hey, it's a game where the storyline goes like, in the 1600s somebody discovered how holographic displays work, and they've created like a mechanical device that produces that holographic display, but the mechanical device is based around instruments that are from that timeline. So that's the kind of games that you would normally want to look at and then be like, okay, this is how I'm going to create my design. And that's the whole aesthetic and aspect of design. So if you're making a game and you're gonna say like, hey, look, I'm making a game which is based around so and so things, you have to be very consistent on how you're going to create the concept or the design for those games. Um, it takes a lot of time and research on doing that. Especially the bigger the game, that's probably going to take even more time and research. But like for the scale of what I am doing, this game's like pretty small. And like these characters which I'm designing are probably extras. I don't think all the characters are gonna go into the game right off the bat. Um, so I'm not I'm not really that worried. And it's still a bit of a blue sky phase, meaning this is like early designs where we're not sure if this is gonna happen or not. We're just exploring things, and this is like one of the thematics that I'm exploring. It's a it's a Ice Age meltdown kind of thing where all the characters are based around like snow related stuff, and they live in and thrive in like snowy environments, but now everything's melting, so they're also kind of like, you know, um struggling to survive. But however, they don't want to settle their differences and they're still fighting against each other, which basically creates the whole concept of the brawler game. Like there's no like proper story around this thing, because there's no writer or anybody right now. It's just like, all right, could you design something which is around this stuff? Like that's basically what's going on. And yeah, that's like the initial planning of it. Sometimes you will find projects in video games, especially if you're a concept artist, you're likely going to see this a lot, that the game is just in like a very early idea phase, and you've been given the task to explore that idea. I really like this. This is a little more cybernetic. And you're just given the task to explore. Um, there is no story, there is no writer, there is no uh understanding to what the characters are going to be like. So the characters may be human, the characters may be alien, we have no idea. um so like this is like super early phase, nobody knows what it's going to be like, and they're all expecting basically um the concept artist to come up with a certain sense of research and bring up that idea to speed. Now, out of even though you do a lot of research, much of that research might not be useful. Like that is something that a concept artist has to be prepared for. Don't expect like everything's gonna go in, but like expect like maybe 10% of it actually getting confirmed, saying like, hey, look, we like the 10% of this content that you've created as a design, and we want to go in with that. So yeah, that's just how things are sometimes. So like, this is like super early phases. This is nice. This pistons or sorts. So if you look at all this, so I want like a mechanized version of a polar bear. That's basically what this design is going to be like. We don't know if this is going to go in, but this is the research. Like this is more than enough to start off your base ideas, right? And let's see if I got anything else. Hmm. I do want the polar bear to be standing on 2 feet, but I'm trying to think like how I'm gonna make it. Should I make it like more humanoid, or should I make it like less humanoid? I don't know. It's something that I'll have to plan out and design and see like, oh, this is what I want it to be like. Hmm. Right, no worries. That we can figure out in shapes. We have a clear distinction in how it's gonna look and feel or how it's gonna work. So we can actually start like drawing this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the size of these notes as well. I don't really need them. Move these references more to the side so that I've got enough space, right? And maybe arrange them a bit. Move these up here. Let this guy be here. And all my space. Right, now drawing the character. So you don't have to be like super clean. You can draw it roughly, just figure out like what the character's shape is gonna be like. So I could spend hours doing this, and probably I will because I don't have like a deadline or time limit for this. So like roughly, you know, this is actually fun. This actually leads to another. It leads to like how you could sketch things out kind of thing. It's actually fun to do, right? So like just roughly drawing it. It doesn't have to be like in details. It's just roughly creating uh the overall design of the character. This is a polar bear, so it's gonna be like it's gonna have some ears. Probably gonna be like this because polar bears are just chunky that way. It's got these arms here. Right. Right. Got these legs. I'm not being careful on like perspectives or anything like that. It's completely fine if your perspectives are not perfect right now. The main goal is like coming up with the idea. So like just just spend time making the idea first and then worry about your perspectives when you come to the like the new foundation of the design when you're making that. For example, let's just say I want like this kind of stuff in the overall design of the polar bear. So maybe he's got like a cylinder tank, but he's using right, which connects to the front. So maybe got some kind of a like a He-Man kind of thing going on there. I have no idea what that is. But maybe it's like a strap that's connected to him. And then probably I'll take one arm. No, I'll keep the arm. I'll take the one which is closer. Probably I'll take this and he's got like the shape of the this could be like a freeze ray, you know, like Mr. Freeze's freeze gun from Batman. So it could be one of those kind of designs as well. Like, so you got endless possibilities. It could be a cannon, it could be a freeze ray, it could be like I don't know, it could be like a snow rain making machine or something like that. It could be anything. Even though the original design is like, hey, the projectile needs to bounce, but now you're telling me you're making a freeze ray. I'm like, yeah, sure, but that doesn't mean I won't make the projectile gonna bounce kind of design. Like I'll make all the designs, but like it's kind of what you're supposed to do while you're exploring all like several possibilities, because you never know, like when you show this to the client, like after you finish it, you clean it up and everything, and you show it to the client may be like, oh, I don't want the bouncing thing, it sounds pretty nice, but I don't want it. I think I would like the freeze ray. You never know. They would go for whatever they would appreciate, or they would want to put in the as their own context. So they could come up with any kind of design they wanted to, right? Drawing animals is not easy though, I'll tell you that much. Creature design is kind of like, it's got its own thing going on most of the time, so like right now my polar bear looks like a freaking mouse, to be honest. Let me see if I can get more references, like a side view or something. Uh, I remember doing some polar bear stuff before, but I cannot recall if I did it on stream. I may have done it on stream. I'll have to check my older videos myself, like to figure out which one I've done it on. I just need a side view of how the polar bear looks like. That's all. Oh, oh, this one's pretty good. They got a unique face, to be honest. This one's pretty good. Just need one image is enough, I guess, in a way. At least to make it stop looking like a mouse. Still not gonna look like like a polar bear. You know what? Never mind. It's okay. I'll figure it out. Oh, let me see if it goes standing one. That would help. Somebody decides to always message me so much when I'm on stream, and I have no idea why, and I never look at it. And then they're like, "Why aren't you looking at my messages?" I'm just like, "Bro, streaming, bro. I'll look at your messages after I'm done with the stream." Right, this is another good one. There you go. We got this. Got this design. Pretty okay. Although I wanted mine chunky, that one's like super thin. Looks like he's been working out kind of thing. Right. So this is one design. Probably got something going on here for the feet as well. I'm being like I really don't care the perspectives and all overall. I just wanted to make it look like there's something going on kind of thing. So even if this is like chicken scratches and only I can understand what's going on in here, it's completely fine. Like, because this is what you would do when you're starting off in concept phase. Right, this is a freeze ray here. Right, this is one. It's not very good, but it does the job kind of thing. Then let's see if we got another. I do like the concept that it's standing, but maybe I will bend it a bit rather than completely standing upright. Say if it's, since it's a big guy, right? And it's a big guy carrying heavy things. So maybe, just maybe, it is slightly hunched over, you could say. If anyone can hear that bird like chirping in the background, I apologize, but if you like it, then that's great. But, like, there's a bird that's chirping like there's no tomorrow. It sounds like it's shooting lasers like Star Wars, man. That's basically how powerfully it's chirping. Like, at least I can hear it. But I think the noise suppression might get rid of the noise, might get rid of that bird's sound. Anyways, so yeah, this is hunched over. Probably, wait, you know what? Just draw it this way. There you go. Probably hunched over. So, wait. I'm not worried about how clean it is. In this phase, you shouldn't worry about all that stuff. Just draw the design. Like, maybe I'll play with the shapes a bit to make it look like more interesting, visually interesting. So probably bigger upper body or something like that. I don't know. Let me just get rid of this for now. 1 minute. Starts with the head. It erases the head. Upper body, maybe like the lower body goes like this. No, actually bigger upper body. Let's just do bigger upper body. And then he's got legs. Right? Like, I could do this for hours actually. This is fun. Most of the time, this is like the kind of sketching that is so much fun to do all the time. Like, especially when you get to spend a lot of time exploring designs and stuff like that. I want the polar bear to be slightly hunched. Should I do side view? Side view is actually better, isn't it? It's fine. I could do it from here. Right. And then probably make the body like this. It looks like shit though. I'm gonna lie, not gonna lie. Your first designs, initial designs, are always gonna come out bad. Yeah, I think I'll do a side view. Let's do that. Your initial designs are always gonna come out bad. It's completely fine though. That's just how it is. You're gonna come up with bad ideas, bad designs, because your brain is still trying to tune in to your creative flow. And once the creative flow kicks in, that's when your designs are going to come out good. But for that to happen, you actually need to spend the time to let those bad designs come out first. And, you know, build around it accordingly afterwards. Man, this pullover is like fit as heck, dude. Are they actually that thin? I don't remember them being so thin. Yeah, we could do that. We could do a thin one. A little big. Torso design like this. We could take like actually hunch it a bit more. So it starts off here, breaking it down here, pushing this a little more. So his body is gonna like turn this way. And he's gonna have like a more forward visual appeal to it, like something like this. And here in the image, the arms are pretty small. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the arms extra large. Something like this. Right? Maybe he's augmented it cybernetically kind of thing. So like the arms are small, but they're wearing some kind of a combat gear or something like that. So something like that. bigger arms or whatever. Right. And then probably got some kind of I mean, I could give shoulder armor, honestly. I love shoulder armor, but instead of shoulder armor, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it a like something they're carrying on the back. So maybe it's a cannon that they have on the back. So like it goes on all four of its legs, like on its limbs, and then it's like fires a cannon kind of thing. So something like that. That's where my old cannon design is gonna come into picture. It's just gonna be pretty useful because it's like something like that. It's a pretty decent sized cannon, which is gonna be there on the back or something. That's like a pretty good idea on the design. Here's a more. So like these are rough ideas. What'll happen is when I'll be making this, like say for example someone says like, hey, I like this idea where the cannon's on the back and stuff like that. So when I'll be making it like in like a final design, I will actually be doing like drawing like the front view, back view and everything for that character, right? So that's basically how it'll be. So you will be like you will be designing a lot more. Maybe he's got like a mad visor or something going on here, or some sort of like a I don't know. Visor seems okay. I'm just throwing the idea out that it has a visor. It might not actually look good, to be honest. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that's so generic. I don't want generic. But hey, sometimes sometimes generic works. So there you go. We got a cannon coming up, going on there. Probably some kind of like a pod, which is also on the back. This pod attaches to the cannon, which powers the cannon kind of thing. So we got this, right? This, taking the pod's design from that cylindrical thing. And then, because this is a like a pretty huge character, if he's gonna like jump high, he'll probably need some kind of support on the legs that allows him to jump high. Um, so you could say he's got this, you know, those cylinder pistons kind of thing on his feet, which is gonna function as like, you know, jet boots or something like that. It's like, you know, this, which could probably be attached to like a belt, or probably like some kind of a, yeah, probably some kind of a belt that's going around the feet or something like that. And it's like very rough design. I'm not really drawing details. I'm just like roughly sketching things out, hoping that they look good or come up with some ideas through that. Right. So on this, fun doing this. Right. You got this design. There you go. This is one more. Pretty good. Well, definitely better than the first one. Um, now I want one more design where the character is like a little more closer to the ground. So if it's hunching over, it's really hunching over. I'll take the cannon. The cannon is a good idea, so I'll take the cannon again. And I'll probably build it a rounded finish on this character design. So So say for example, this character is more closer to the ground. So it's got like something like this going on. You see these rounded things that I had saved up, could probably use them. Probably build a neck. For the record, I've never drawn a polar bear before. Just saying, just putting it out there. It's my first time drawing these. Like actually focusing on drawing them. Not that I've not done it before, it's just that I've never drawn animals so much. I mostly used to draw environments, so it's like a whole other story. But like, it's good to learn, you know? So, if you don't know to draw something, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to draw like this, that doesn't mean you never should draw. You should learn how to draw. Maybe I'll, instead of him on the, being on the ground, he's got them slightly up in air. Something like this. You know what? Maybe the legs, I'll make the legs a little more larger. So in this case, his legs are like huge. So it's like it can take the weight of the body that's like, you know, going down like this, and maybe like a longer cannon. Right. So as I keep drawing it's once my like I'm kind of warmed up, you know, I'll tend to draw better. That's just how you keep practicing. So like the cannon's got like this, it's got this like belt thing. Maybe this polar bear's got an armor going on here. It's got this round design going on here. I don't know what's wrong with this brush. It keeps doing some weird shit every now and then. But it's got this armor going on here. It's got this belt plate or something like that. Right, and then it's got a cannon, which is attached to like a cylindrical tank. It's got this kind of cannon devices, probably jetpacks as well in this case. And the legs are probably bigger, so instead of like designing this way, what I'm gonna do is probably something like this. Right, so the arms are overall smaller than the legs. The thing is, you don't have to worry about like realistic size proportions that much because this is a very, very fictional game, which is like in an extreme fictional setting. So you could get away with funny shapes and designs, but people do have that tendency of scrutinizing. So they'll be like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Even if they're looking at a cartoon, sometimes they'll be like, this doesn't make sense. So sometimes you need to round it to something. So, like, this will be design. So this is like a more like a larger cannon than taking inspiration from the references is most of the time is going to help you. So like you'll always come up with something interesting through that. So yeah, there you go. This is like one thing. Right, so you got this bear coming on this. Oh, the bear's probably got like his eyes here. The hairs are here. Looks like a capybara sometimes. I'll never get these bear proportions right sometimes. I'll just be like, shit. Right, what to do, sir? You know? So, it's fine though. It's okay. I'll probably do the cleanups. That's when I'll be like, okay, I need to get the proportion for the bear correct. Normally I'll just add in like this kind of, or kind of sign, kind of saying like, oh, it's probably a bear. So this works. There you go. This works. You got this. Right. And then probably some kind of glove, power glove or something. That's one design here. That's one on the top and the front. Probably the second one looks good. Honestly, it's always like one of them which always comes out nice. So that's another one. Let's do more actually. Let me hide these. Another design. This one could be on all four because we've not explored that. Not yet anyways. So it could be on all four legs in this case. Right, so say for example I'm doing this. And then it's got this leg going on like this. So this hair going on like this. Yes. I'm being like super rough. I don't even care if it's like chicken scratches kind of thing. Just clean it up as I keep going. That's the whole concept. Just come up with the design like that. Right, and maybe it's got its cannon. Well, maybe the cannon's pointing upwards instead. Now this is like where the bounce snowball effect comes into picture. So the cannon's pointing upwards instead. Right? And then it's got something going on there, so probably gonna build that around. Maybe smaller cannon in this case again. Right, and then it's got like some kind of a device cylinder going. Probably armor. So we got like, let's design with this. And maybe it's connected to some kind of device that's powering up the cannon on the back. So we got this whole idea. Right? Oh man, this is actually fun to do. Create random stuff. That's what you need. Maybe it's got like a circular thing on the head as well. Because why not? You can create something like that. It's like a super soldier. Although it looks like more like a scientific experiment, but I'm not gonna go into that. Like not too much though. Right. So you got this, which is like pretty okay, I guess. Put the cannon here. Probably got something going on here. So the cannon's always pointed upwards because what's going to do is it's going to shoot a snowball and the snowball's going to bounce, bounce, bounce and attack the enemy. Like it's going to explode. Like a grenade launcher, to be honest. So that's one more design. Got like I've got like 4 of them or something like that. I can keep going, I probably will. Like 4 of them. Looks like yeah, it was first on 4 legs. Then it tried to stand, and then it was standing, and then it was upright. Or something like that. Let's explore. Let's explore another one where instead of the cannon is on the back, we will make the cannons on the arms instead. Right. So now this one is going to have the cannons on the arms. It is going to be standing upright again. What it's gonna do is it's gonna have like a much more larger arm section going on. It's got like something going on here when it comes to the overall arms, and it's got a cannon attached to the arm. So like a giant cannon. What it could be is it's got its hand there, right? And the cannon's on top, like a a would you say a gauntlet. So it's like an arm cannon, but it doesn't cover the whole arm. It's more like a gauntlet, or you could say something like that, yeah. So it's got this. It's got the arm going like this. That's the arm, folks. And the cannon is gonna be on top of it. Or I got a better idea actually. This just popped in my head now. He's kind of holding the cannon, so you could say like there's the cannon's like under the arm, like this, right? Probably got this some kind of like a pipe going around it, right? And this is our arm here. And he's kind of holding the cannon. So let me just erase this part. And probably a strap kind of thing to make sure the cannon stays in rest. And he's got this shoulder pad thing going on. But what the shoulder pad is doing is it's actually carrying the additional resources that it needs to shoot from the cannon, like ammo and stuff like that. So it's also like acting like a backpack kind of thing. Some kind of a weird design going on there. So like a cylinder sorts. And then what will happen is like two wires are gonna go down and connect. Probably got something on the back as well, so maybe it's a backpack. Also like probably like works like a jetpack or something, I don't know. Could be one of those. So this is like the body. Again, you're making like a very rough design. Oh, hello. Welcome to the chat, or welcome to the stream. I'm designing a character for that's basically based around a polar bear that's gonna be in a fighting game or something like that. So a brawler game actually, to be precise. So the idea is like how you're gonna design that character that way. So it's just rough designs, like in an idea phase, like how you're gonna sketch, basically. Maybe I've already done the He-Man thing, so maybe something more techy. There you go. So this is one more design. Probably got something going on here, right? got this circular thing, so this will probably be like shoulder pad slash on guard that protects the bear from things. Alright, so while that is going on, you're thinking on this is like one more. So you got this, so let me reduce the size of this one. Probably around the same size as this. Yeah. Right? I could go on and on. Probably draw one more. See if like I can really push my designs. Before I exhaust myself out from it. Like 2 really feels good for me, the second one, and probably the last one which I just made. They feel really good to me. 3 is okay, but like I don't like it really. I don't like the shape so much. 1 is definitely no. And I think the one with the four-legged polar bear probably won't do so well. So yeah, let's draw one more though. Just to explore the idea that I want a little more hunched back version, because I want a little more hunched back version. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like decide like, hey, look, this is how much the hunchback is gonna be. It's like probably a little more front view instead of side view. Yo, someone's honking. So you got this. So if I was like, what you call it? If I was like designing this for a studio, full-time studio, what would happen is, I would spend the first 1.5 hour or even 2 hours like creating this thing. Like, let's exaggerate the designs a bit more. Creating this thing, like just sketching and cleanups, and probably afternoon I would have the cleanups ready and do the first presentation. And if time permits, then I would actually start working on the concept design after the cleanups and the presentation's done on which polar bear they want, kind of thing. Sometimes they would say like, hey, could you make more variations on the ones which you've selected? And you'd be like, yeah, sure, let's make variations on it. But other times they'll just be like, hey, let's just go with this. And then you're just like designing the final output. Right? So this one I wanted a little more broadened shoulder version of a polar bear. A little more cartoony kind of thing. And let's get this version going on here. And then he's got his hands, which are pretty big. So this is what I mean by warm up, right? If you look at the first drawing, it's like pretty stiff. If you look at the last drawing, I'm like pretty uh you know, like I can go with like a more curvy design and all that stuff. So like, look at that. Look at this, probably this area off. That's the arm there. Probably just push this nose a little bit more to the sides. Yeah, maybe I'll do this. Maybe here, one ear like this, second ear like this. Well, this definitely doesn't look like a polar bear. I'll say that much. Especially if I'm doing it roughly, it's probably not gonna look like one. But as time passes by, I'll probably make it. I think he's got a rounded nose more than a square nose or triangular nose. Rounded seems fine, actually, to be honest. It's like he got this design, and instead of having like a cannon on the back or a cannon um on the on hands, I'll put it on the shoulder pads itself. Like cannons on the shoulders, like Blastoise from Pokemon, who had the cannons on the shoulders. And this is like a hybrid cannon slash freeze ray kind of thing. So, you know, like, this is what I mean by pushing design. Like I'm thinking even further outside the box. I'm like trying to think of like a crazy idea that will work. But sometimes, most of the times, not sometimes, most of the times, these ideas will probably be rejected. But it's always good to go into this state of mind, because what will happen is that when the client sees this, they'll be like, oh, okay, this person's like actually really doing a lot of research trying to understand what they want to make. And they're doing like a good fair share of job, a good fair share of work. And this is why if you're a concept artist and you're getting paid good, it's probably because of these reasons. You're kind of like really coming out with a lot of ideas over that design. If their client is not paying you, then don't do that work, of course. Don't do work like that just for like, if the client is paying you, then you can do that work. It's completely okay. So here he goes, probably the coming. And instead of like claws, because I'm in the mood, instead of claws, he's actually got like a fist, a proper arm fist kind of thing. Right, there you go. And yeah, it's got two cannons on the back. Um, they're doing the same thing. They're probably like shooting, like they're tilted upwards instead of like tilted like straight. You know, they're slightly tilted upwards, and they're probably gonna shoot like a snowball that's gonna bounce. So that whole main concept, which is there in the notes, I'm not deviating from that, because that's kind of like creating a rule and guideline for yourself. So you'll be like, why would you want to deviate from that thing when you've created a rule case for yourself, right? Um, let's see, how do I load this cannon like this? Okay. Right, and then you got something going on here. Probably the same things will be here. Sort of. I'm not going to go into detail with that one. It's on the back side of the Uh, let's just do this. And probably I'll draw these cannons a bit larger. What they're gonna do is they're gonna dip into the shoulder pad. So the shoulder pad is actually covering a little bit of that cannon. Like this. Oh yeah. Now that's looking cool, dude. Okay, so you got that. Okay, you got this. And probably the cannons are interconnected to each other from the back, which probably, if this design gets selected, I'll probably do the back side of it as well. So that's when I'll be showcasing. And so like, what's going on here is that I'm designing the bear in a state where it's got most of its armor and weapons on the hands and like the torso. Well, the head and the legs are still organic. That's the design. So it's giving a clear breakdown of silhouette between the places. I mean, I could add on the legs as well, but then that would be just too much of you know too much of cybernetics, and I don't want to go that route. This is not like a cyberpunk science fiction. This is just like a very fun, playful science fiction video game that I'm intending to design. So like I could do that. I could actually make a full cybernetic bear. Just the head being organic, but that's for a different setting. We don't want to break that. That's basically ties into what I was saying in the start. When you're setting a thematic, you have to be very clear like what kind of thematic you're setting on for the game. Um, the whole talk about me talking about like 1600 science fiction, which where they invented holographic displays. And if they invented holographic displays in 1600, the question would be like, how would it look? It wouldn't look modern and sleek. It would look like with a lot of gears and stuff like that, right? So that's basically what I mean to say is when it comes to designing that kind of stuff. So yeah, that is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different polar bear designs. Normally you would stop here. If you were doing this for fun and you had like 3-4 hours in your hand, then you would continue. To be fair, you would continue. But normally, if you're doing it for a client and you just got like a 2-hour time period in the first half of the day, or probably something like that, you would just stop here. But yeah, this is like an overall aesthetic design of. Like, I could make one more, to be honest. I could actually make one more. The question is if I want to make one more. Blastoise, Polar Bear is done. We got Cannon Polar Bear, we got like Arm Cannon Polar Bear, we got like some weird Freeze Ray Polar Bear. The cannon idea is like way more appealing to me than the freeze ray, at least for this character, because it makes more sense that they have like a giant cannon which shoots one big ass snowball and then bounces 2-3 times and it hits on the opponent or something like that. That totally makes more sense to me. I think I'm out of ideas in terms of like more designs, or if I was to make one more. Like you'd spend time thinking and actually looking at more stuff. That's how you get your ideas most of the times. But if I was to make one more, something completely out of the box. Hmm. Hmm. I could do this. This is the last idea. Probably completely out of the box and out of the context of the game design. So you would do this 99% of the time. This is gonna get rejected, but you would do this anyways. Something. Well, this one's gonna be interesting. So I want to make a human being that is controlling a polar bear, or a mechanized polar bear. It's not organic. It's more like a power suit. So what I would do is I would create the head. Right? I create the torso, and this is the torso is where the human is, right? What I'll do is I'll create the character here. What the human is doing is basically it's running it like a suit. So say it's got this. This is a human being. Maybe I won't create a head. Say it's a human being, and it's got like this kind of augmented settings where the legs are attached. I don't even have to draw the human being in detail, to be honest. It's got this. This is actually coming from another idea. I had done this commission some time ago for a person, and it was a cross-section concept design for something crazy. It's been a while since I've done it. Let me see if I can find it. And it's actually popped up from that idea. I'm not sure if I can find it. I used to draw, that was a time when I used to draw a lot of spaceships as well. No, it's not this. These are old spaceship designs. Where did it go? I should actually come. I should actually come back to that. See if we can find it. Did I do it in 22 or I did it in 21? I think I did it in 21 or 2020. No, 21. I know I've made images of all those files. There should be a science fiction file. Here it is. Okay, it's not here. I'm surprised I couldn't find it. Too many folders, actually. But I know it's there somewhere. Should have been in my 21 folder. But I know I did it on. I did it. I remember the date. I've done it on the 23rd or the 23rd of December 2021. Like, that's how much I remember the date, because I remember doing this one very clearly. It's very weird people remember the date, but I am one of those people. Doodle event. I think I'll find it. Oh, there, I found it. Okay. I'm talking about this image. See if it pops up. There you go. So this was like a penguin, which is a cybernetic penguin robot, or like a penguin design, which is like actually operated by a person sitting inside. Yeah, this was like I've done this on the 23rd of December 21. See, the date's actually there. The date's actually freaking there. I was totally right. So yeah, I did this. This was like a while back, man. But like this was like really good understanding to break down on how I'm gonna, like, if you make sketches like this, holy shit, you know, you'll probably get a job in concept art really fast. Really freaking fast, because this is like explaining how the robot works from inside out. Like, this is the cross section of things. Like, this kind of stuff is like really useful. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, this has been a while since I've done one of these. I should actually get back to doing these in the future. It's like really fun. I've got more. Let me see if I can find them. Here's another friend's work. This was like my perspectives then were like not so great. I mean, they're still not so great, but like they were really bad at a bunch of time. There's another one. Sure, see. These are like all functionings of sketch designs and like how it works and all. There's another one. You know, I think this was like a dude in a bow tie who's supposed to like like use like a mech that's got like a would you say it's got like some kind of a parasol, like a thing, you know, on it, like that. It's like you can chill out in the mech or something like that. Here's another one which is like pure mech design. And let me see if I can find the big crazy ones. Here's another one. This is also pure mech design, but like this has like some tree like structures going on, like, and then it's got vines or something that it's using. There's one more. Here's another one. Here's another one. This was inspired more from Ghost in the Shell. So yeah, this is another mech design. So these are like, if you can do these kind of sketches, you're probably doing like an amazing job. Especially this one. You can create a cross section of things. Holy shit. People are gonna be like, okay, this guy really knows what they're doing. So yeah, if you can do that, like it's really gonna help. So yeah, coming back to the polar bear, final polar bear design. I wanted to make a human being controlling the polar bear kind of thing. So like I got this, right? Like he's like this guy's like got his arms like this, probably got some kind of a controller which he's using. Like I'm not doing it in detail right now because it's like very rough sketches. Um, but the idea is like he's gonna be like what happens is you normally make these rough sketches and then you start drawing over and clean them up. That's what you normally do. And even the designs that I've done over there, like which I just showed, they're all following the same process. So you got this polar bear, right? The polar bear arms are gonna come somewhere around here. So it's got this. This is like very distinctive shapes. So what will happen is now, like I'm gonna make an arm instead. So we've got an arm, probably another arm. Wait, it's super rough. Doesn't matter. Right. And what I'm gonna do is instead of the head of the character's head is actually inside the polar bear's head. Well, that's why I said this is like the crazy one. Probably gonna get rejected 9 out of 10 times. And then there's gonna be some armor casing here to protect the character from any kind of attacks or anything like that. Right, so you only see the arms and like a certain element of the torso there, right? The rest of it is like the character is actually being protected. Like the human's actually being protected. So you got this design. It's very rare that a person will like this idea when I'm like presenting like all the other ideas and they'll see this and they'll be like, oh, I really like this idea if it's matching the overall theme of your concept. Otherwise it's probably just an extra that's like, hey look, I did explore this additional idea, what do you think? And they'll look at it and they'll be like, yeah, maybe it's cool, man, it's nice, and like I like it, but like not the one which you're looking for, kind of thing. We got this. And probably they got like some kind of a exoskeleton thing going on in the back, which is gonna like connect the whole thing. Probably they'll have their backpacks and whatever, their jet boosters or whatever on the back, so it'll all come on the back. And then the same cannon concept, which is gonna come here. There you go. This is pretty much completing the whole idea of the design. You'll have this probably. So the next process would be like just cleaning this up, like coming up with a um more detailed version of the thing. It doesn't have to be as clean as the sketches which I've shown, like which I showed as examples. those took hours, man. Like, it that cleaning that one up probably took me the full day because then I'm like really working on the perspectives and then like planning out every single thing. Like, hey, look, this is what the device is gonna be like, and then there's this little reference board that I'm making. It's probably gonna grow like super huge at that point. So you got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 different designs, and in a span of, I think, one to one, almost 1.5 or 2, almost 2 hours kind of thing, with like a lot of ideas generated. So that's just how you design characters, man. No other rule around it. Um, yeah, I will continue this and probably update the cleanups. And next stream, I will showcase like how you do the presentation, which is also important. I've never done the presentation part of the stream, so I'll explain how the presentation things work also. Like presentation for um the initial design and presentation for how you're gonna do the presentation for a character that's already been selected, and then you want to make the final concept for that character. So that presentation also. So like presentation's equally important for most concept designers, and it matters because if you make a good presentation, it's gonna leave, like, your drawing may not be the best, but if you make a good presentation, it's gonna leave a good impression on your client, and their client will be like more inclined to like be active and understand what they want to do, what they want from you, kind of thing. If you make, like, you may have good drawings, but if your presentation not so great, um, there are times when the client will just be like, "Nah, this is so boring. I don't want it. I don't want any of them." That can also happen. So, yeah, that's that's basically how it works. So yeah, I'll continue the stream next time. That's it for today, I guess. Thank you so much, whoever's come, whoever sees this video later on. Thank you, like, and they have like uh any questions they can ask me. But if you find anything useful, then that's great.